Italian uproar over judge's 10-second groping rule. Have you heard about this?
I am not.
You know what groping is though, right?
Yes.
So in Italy, in Rome, there was a high school in Rome, and there was this 17-year-old girl who the case is that there was a 17-year-old girl who I guess was walking up a stairs or down the stairs, and there was a 66-year-old caretaker behind her, who I'm not quite sure because the article says one thing and she kind of says another thing, but in both instances, the article says he pulls her pants down, but she kind of says that he kind of just goes inside the pants, and touches her bum, and grabs her underwear, and then she turns around. I suppose like what are you doing? Like, don't be crazy. And he says to her, they've obviously translated this to English. Love, I was just joking. And then the man told, which is what the like when she turned around, she was like, I'm just joking. So this happened last year in April, and she obviously reported it to the police, blah 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 blah. And then he admitted to having committed the groping, but he said that it was just in jest, like it was just a joke. Like it wasn't in nothing
Yeah,
malicious.
yeah.
It wasn't nothing malicious.
Okay. You know what? I was very concerned until he said he was joking. Now I get it. Like, I'm not concerned anymore, I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The judges agreed with him. So, a Rome public prosecutor asked for a 3.5-year prison sentence, but this week the caretaker was acquitted of sexual assault charges. According to the judges, what happened does not constitute a crime because it lasted less than 10 seconds. These men were like, do you know what they did? They were like, when you drop your food on the floor, it's like, it hasn't even been 5 seconds, yo. So how can it be dirty? They were like, it hasn't even been 10 seconds. How can it be sexual assault? These people, what are they doing right now? What are they talking about? It does not constitute a crime because it lasted less than seconds. And now, since this ruling, on TikTok and Instagram, there's been a sort of a popular hashtag 10 seconds or 10 secondi, which is the French thing. It's called palpata breve, I guess, which translates to a brief groping. And it's these like, I suppose teenagers, or not just teenagers, but women and stuff like that, like filming themselves, right? Like touching themselves, their private parts or whatever, like clothed obviously, for 10 seconds, and just staring in the camera doing it. The point being, like, when someone's doing that to you, 10 seconds is not 10 seconds. It's like a lifetime of someone just holding on to you. And so it's been a popular hashtag and trend recently on social media of people just doing that. And it says here that the videos are often uncomfortable to watch, but the aim was to show just how long 10 seconds can really feel.
Yeah.
When you're under that situation.
I wonder how that rule came about. 10 seconds is a long time.
Boy.
Like 10 seconds is so long. That's
I can't skip for 10 seconds. I mean, I can, but I'm sweating after skipping for 10 seconds.
Yeah, imagine it was like strangling. Like, if they strangle you for more than 10 seconds, then that's like they're trying to kill you. But if it's less, that's all right.
It's not attempted murder. It's playful. It's wrestling. It's WWE. Like, what is that? What are they talking about, man?
WWE. Okay. Wait, so this is, you said it's been, he's free completely. Nothing happened. No punishment.
They didn't really go. They didn't say anything else. But he's been acquitted of the sexual charges. So yeah, he's free. He's free from them. He's not guilty, basically. So an influencer by the name Francesco Sicconetti wrote on TikTok, "Who decides that 10 seconds is not a long time? who times the seconds while you're being harassed? You're just being harassed. Harassment is harassment, regardless whether it's 5 seconds or it's 5 years. Like, harassment is harassment. Men don't have the right to touch women's bodies, not even for a second, let alone 5 or 10. Is what he goes on to say. The judge's decision to acquit the caretaker shows just how normalized sexual harassment is in Italian society. Now, that part I'm not too sure about. I don't live in Italy, of course, and it might be like people just being angry and stuff. But I'll take his word for it in this instance. In which case, like, it's crazy a little bit, man. How like certain like sexual harassment and stuff like that, it's just normal in certain places. And it's not checked, because if you then complain, it's like, oh, why are you being this? Why are you being so sensitive?
It's crazy to think about it, because like if you look at it from an Islamic perspective, like I don't shake any woman's hand. I don't hug any woman that's not like my wife or like my family member. Like I'm not allowed to like have that. Like even 1 second, like I can't do that. I'm not allowed to. I have no rights as a man to touch a woman. Like women are held in such like high esteem in the same way you can't just go and touch like something that's super valuable. You have something that's valuable, you lock it away, you keep it away. I can't just go to any woman and just touch them. I have no right to do so.
Forget touching, brother. I can't even just look at them.
Yeah, you
like
gotta lower your
staring,
gaze,
bro.
yeah.
Like I can like if I catch them accidentally, it's like, oh, okay, and then you just move on. You forget the touch even before we even get there. But we're the sexist though, because we make them wear hijab. Cool, no khalas, brother. It's okay, no problem. I saw, you know what? I love like just throwing certain little things at, like, you know what I'm saying, like, we're the bad people. Come on, man. Khalas, man.
But you know what? No one can say anything because you didn't go on for more than 10 seconds.
There you go.
Just little. You said it, and then we move on.
There you go. According to the judges, the caretaker did not linger. He groped the teenager. Look at the words they're using. Like they're like admitting that he groped her, right? He groped the teenager, the teenager, only briefly, performing quote an awkward maneuver without lust. So now they believe the man in what he says is his intentions.
You know what? Maybe this has been what's the word? Like wokenized or something. I know that's not an actual word.
Yeah.
Maybe it was actually just we were very quick to judge. Now, maybe it was just like not that bad. Maybe within that culture, that's not seen as strange. Maybe they've done it before and people have been like, ha ha ha. I don't know.
It's yeah. And that's
what wrong.
And that's what that guy meant when he said like it's just normalized. Where other people have experienced it, but they just didn't say anything because they then would be outcast in their societies and communities for being so sensitive.
Like traumatic in that experience. Like I would assume, yes, it is traumatic.
Well, here she goes. Look, here she says.
Oh, go on.
The judges ruled that he was joking. Well, it was no joke to me. The caretaker came up from behind without saying anything. He put his hands down my trousers and inside my underwear. He groped my bottom, then he pulled me up, hurting my private parts. For me, this is not a joke. This is not on how an old man should joke with a teenager. That handful of seconds was more than enough for the caretaker to make me feel his hands on me. She says she feels doubly betrayed by her school and by the justice system. I'm starting to think I was wrong to trust the institutions. This is not justice. The student fears that the judge's ruling will deter girls and women from coming forward if they're subjected to such attacks. and
Yeah.
rightly so. I think like next time, like if I have that type of family, like I'll just tell my brother, and my brother will just do the justice for me. Like
Mm, 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 mm.
that is,
Yeah.
and but then my brother would then get in trouble for doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like so it's like
And then the other way as well. Like it will probably deter people from talking, but
mm,
encourage more people to do it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If it's
Because
not
nothing will
against the
happen
law.
to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Recent figures from the EU's Fundamental Rights Agency suggested that 70% of Italian women who had suffered harassment between 2016 and 2021 did not report the incident. So in terms of normalized, maybe that's your answer over there. And they will feel that reporting abuse is just not worth it, but it's important because silence protects the aggressors.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I mean, like you were about to say in terms of like trauma, and maybe even like if it's the type of thing to create like PTSD, for example, for a person,
Mm.
you know, you never know with
Well, I
this
was
type
gonna
of thing.
say, is it uh like I would assume the answer is yes, but is it something that would cause, is it something that is a traumatic experience if it's normalized in the society? You know, like there are certain things that if they're not normalized, it may be traumatic, but if they are normalized, it may not be as traumatic. It's like, oh,
Well,
this is
if
just
they
whatever.
if they're normalized, then well, trauma the effects of trauma is always different in different people, and it manifests
Right.
itself in different shapes and forms. So for example, like if you know if she feels this, for example, she may never be able to like trust a man again, or she may never be able to get into, for example, because in these types of cultures it's different from ours obviously, but like I don't I can't let a man touch me for like the first 10 dates, let's say,
Mm,
right? And so unless you find a man who's willing to do that, which
mm,
in the society we live in is probably not that very common, then she could then live a life of like looking for that type of partner and all these type of things, right? For a very very long time. and
right.
and that's just one example. So I think um it can still be a trauma, even though it's in a normalized scenario. It might just manifest itself in a different way that is not as visible,
Mm,
maybe.
yeah. 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 Probably. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think either way that there is going to be some sort of trauma. Like people have trauma. Like everyone. I think everyone has trauma from their parents. Like even just I think it's like if you're crying as a baby, um, and your parent doesn't pick you up, and that happens like often or semi-often, that can be traumatic to a baby or a child because you feel like you want to be protected and they don't protect you when you feel you want to be protected. And something as small as that,
Yeah.
if we're talking about someone groping you for nine
Mm.
seconds,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah, it's definitely going to cause something, man. Okay.
Good luck with her,
Yeah.
man. Thoughts and prayers to her. I hope she doesn't suffer any of that stuff. I hope she's able to.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, she's able to move on healthily, um,
Yeah.
and be able to move forward. And maybe her case is the case because of the way it's trended. Maybe her case is the case that allows that changes sort of that helps to change things. Become a fuel in a car to help women in Italy who suffer
Mm,
from the same type of tragedies
mm,
and things of that nature. So good luck to you. Good luck to you.
hopefully, yeah.
Speaking of children,